Okay, so now welcome to day 10 of our psychology training. In earlier video, we have seen like what is counseling processes, how a counselor should behave, how a counselor should communicate, and we have also seen what are assessment tools and now. So again, now I already promised you that we are going more deeper now. So cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. We are back with CBT now. CBT is a very authentic, very structured, very much like popular kind of therapy session. So that is why we selected to provide nuances of it. Okay, the thing is REBT, as I already told you in our last video, that I am very confident and I am very attached with REBT. Okay, I feel very confident while doing REBT. Okay, but still CBT and REBT are, we can say, kind of sister concern. Okay, CBT, it is a practical toolkit for mental health. Why? Because it involves a lot of toolkits. Okay, in CBT, if you are like see now, so CBT business, like toolkit CBT business is at very prominent stages running. Okay, someone is developing some kind of toolkit for automatic thoughts, some kind of like for scheduling, for journaling. So there are a lot of toolkit which are there. So that is why we also call it toolkit for mental health. Also at the same time, if we look for CBT as a therapy, it has everything which is required for a therapy session. Okay, or which is required to change someone's point of view about anything in his life. Okay, it focus on emotion, thoughts and beliefs and behavior also. What is the behavior person is doing is, what are the thoughts and what are emotions. So let's understand what is emotion, what is feeling, what is thought, what is behavior. Behavior we already do. We have already discussed that behavior is everything a person do is a behavior. Okay, so now if we are talking about some kind of like counseling session, if we are talking about behaviors, so the observable behavior we are talking about. Okay, if we are talking about like there are covert and overt behavior, so we are talking about the overt behavior only, the observable one, which we can observe from our naked eye, which we can observe what person is going through, what is he is doing. Okay, he is very angry with stuff, or yeah, so this kind of behavior we are going to talk about. Thought is, if there is anything happen to some person, the first thing he think about it. Okay, whatever is situation, whatever the problem brings the thought, like his explanation or his observation from that event is his thought. If someone mailed you, okay, and if you're saying, oh, I'm getting like, now he's calling me for work, or he's calling for this thing, so that's your thought. Okay, that's not the actual situation is. And emotion and feeling is what you feel about that thought. Okay, he just want some attention from me, or it is very irritating. Okay, so it is very irritating whatever you are seeing it. So the thing is, first you have like if someone called you, you bring a thought that he is calling me for this reason, and this brings out feelings in you. Okay, and that define your behavior. Not now what you are going to do, how your mood is going to get affected is your behavior to it. So REBT and CBT just run around these things. Okay, the thoughts, emotion and behavior of person. It is very proven, it is very structured, and it is very goal oriented, because it is a process where we are finding some belief and we have to like dispute that belief, and we have to do some cognitive restructuring or any kind of activity which after getting the thought, we are just trying to change that thought. Okay, so that's why it is a goal directed behavior already, because we have to find the belief and we have to change it. So that is a goal of CBT. So it is goal oriented, structured. Why? Because we don't go for like dissolving some issues, or we just don't go to like provide some DBT solutions or some kind of mindfulness solutions. We first find the belief. Okay, so it is a structured, and it is proven how, because and there is a Stoic philosophy, or there was a philosopher called Epictetus. Okay, Epictetus, some kind of name. So he used to say that the thing he used to believe was, people don't suffer from anything. Okay, they suffer from their perception of that thing. Okay, how you perceive that thing. So we suffer by our perception is what Stoic philosophy said. This thought is took up by Aaron Beck, when he was working with a person with depression, so he saw that person go into a negative trail of emotions. He named it automatic thoughts, which are automatically arrived in that person's mind, and that are very negative. And that is why he is like, whatever he is trying to convince that client, or whatever he is trying, he was trying with that client, was not helping. Why? Because he understood that there are a negative thought and there is trail of negative thought which is there, which is very automatic thoughts, which the person brings in every therapy session, and that is why he is not able to help that person. So instead of doing any other kind of techniques or try something else with that person, he tried to like address that negative thought only. Okay, so that's how CBT got generated. Okay, so core beliefs. Now that automatic thoughts are just, which are like the negative thoughts which are coming in that person's mind, which are, if we go deeper, so that is attached with a belief which is a core belief of that person, that he believe consciously, unconsciously at his core. Okay, so whatever he is thinking, or he have a thought about, is negative thought about that situation, is his automatic thought, and the root cause of that automatic thought is the core beliefs. Okay, it is very deep, unconscious. Example, like I am unlovable. If some person is like, there is some kind of situation happen where you broke up someone, or someone rejected your proposal or something, you got a thought that she don't like me, he don't like me. Okay, this is because of this. Now it bring a emotion in you. Why it is having? Why? Because in a core belief, you are like having a core belief that I am unlovable. So if a person at a core think I am lovable, I am a good person, and if a person thinks I am unlovable, so whatever the situation is, he is going to fall in a category where he believe, if there's a good relationship going on, still if he thinks he is unlovable, that core belief of him will bring out some automatic thought related to that relationship. Okay, might be like she is cheating with me, or she is not completely involved with me, or she just like trying to it is just a flick, it is not a serious relationship, or this kind of vibe that person can have. Why? Because at the core he has a belief that is I am unlovable. So that is the beauty of CBT. Okay, what you are just like targeting on root. Okay, there can be n number of reasons, like if this core belief can bring n number of reasons. Okay, now this core belief, good or bad. Okay, now a lot of time people think like core beliefs are negative only and core beliefs are bad only. That is why at early stage when someone is practicing, so if there's a belief like I should be there for my father, okay, my father loves me a lot, or there can be any kind of thought. Okay, like a family should be very genuine with each other, a family should be very helpful, or a partner should be very helpful, very loving. So this kind of core belief they get, and now they like think, yeah, it is very, because of their biasness, or because of their they are not doing introspections more with them, so they think like yeah, it can't be a core belief, it can't be negative, it is very positive, it is good if he thinks like that. No, any belief which is creating trouble in your client's life is a core belief which is very negative. Okay, which should be changed. Okay, it could be any positive statement, but if that thing is troubling that person, then we have to change it. Now the model of cognitive model, what cognitive model is? Thought, feelings and belief. Okay, it is a triangle of thought, feelings and belief. We already know what is thought, what is feeling and what is behavior. Automatic thoughts trigger our emotion and reactions. Okay, so automatic thoughts are, we already talked about, okay, if there's a situation there are thoughts, so that thoughts are now, because of core belief, are automatically involved, if automatically develop in your brain, and you are like trigger your emotion, some kind of because thought brings emotions, so now it will bring a emotion and feeling. Okay, and you will act out yourself with that feeling only. Okay, if there's something happened to you, and because of your core belief there's a negative thought which brings in your mind and which make you feel sad or angry, now your behavior will be very depressed and furious. Okay, understood? So this is why I like REBT and CBT a lot. because they are just working on the core. And that is why like they just bring a solution which is very genuine and which is very real and which is very proven also. Okay, so change one to influence the other. What is this? Like, what we have to change now? There is a thought, there is a feeling, that there is a behavior. We can ask questions like what instead of feeling like this, okay, instead of, if you are feeling sad or furious about this situation, how you want to feel? If the person bring out like, I want to feel in that way or this way, then we can, like, we have now cognitive restructuring base. Okay, how we have to restructure the cognition of that person, how we have to restructure this automatic thought. Okay, so first is knowing the automatic thought. Okay, so a lot of time it is a process done by the client, and if it is a process done by the therapist, okay, who brings out, who understood and who is carry out what is the core belief is, and if understood and psycho-educated well to the client can also get notified with their automatic thoughts. Core belief is hard to find, but the automatic thoughts he know. Whatever the thought he is having at any situation which is negative in nature is the automatic thought. So yeah, we can ask that client to have a track of it. So course CBT techniques are: first is cognitive restructuring, where we challenge the negative thoughts. Okay, challenge the negative thoughts, like we try to find what is evidence of that negative thought. Okay, we, like, if someone say that this mean this kind of problem is going to happen. Okay, what at, if there's a situation A which bring a thoughts B, so in this situation, where do you feel that there's a place for thought B? Okay, what is the what is the core, or what is the, like, crux of this situation made you assume that there should be thought B about it? Okay, so that is what cognitive restructuring is. We directly attack on the negative thought and we challenge that negative thought. And if it found like very irrelevant or illogical, so we provide a real life example, or we provide a reality to it. Okay, whatever the real thought should be and whatever a real thought could be, we try to manage it. Now, behavioral activation is very important. Behavioral activation is increasing the positive activity, whatever the person like. Okay, what happen is ki whenever you are involved in a situation where your automatic thoughts bring out a feeling which is very negative, okay, because the thoughts are very negative, the feeling is very negative, your behavior is very negative. At the same time, when you are dealing with this kind of stuff, what you are missing out is the thing which brings love, which brings like joy in your life. Okay, so that is why behavior activation is very required. We try to activate some kind of behavior which is very positive in that person. Like if he like to listen to music, if someone in there are people who like spiritual prayers or some kind of stuff, so we try to activate this kind or increase the more positive activity more. Okay, so that at that time the person could feel good. Okay, so we already understood it is a triangle of it, so we can attack on anyone. Okay, in the last slide we have said like changed one to influence the other. Okay, so we can change anyone, we can change like behavioral activation, we can change the feelings of that person. Okay, by that feeling might possible he can get a more good thought and he can get a more positive or more real thought to a situation. Okay, so that is why we do behavior activation. Exposure therapy you already know. In cases like anxiety and stuff, we provide the person to face fear in a lot of situations. If there's like social anxiety or kind of situations, so at the same time we do exposure therapy a lot, because it helps the person, because now that person understood that I have done it and nothing bad happened to me. Okay, now I can do it again, because now it is doing two things at the same with the exposure therapy. Like he is facing the fear, at the same time there's cognitive restructuring which is happening at the back. Okay, thought record and activity schedule. As we told you, like automatic thought that person can take out. Okay, there are a lot of sheets which are available where the person can track of his mood, that track of his automatic thought, the frequency of the thought, how much, like how times he come, the intensity of thought. Okay, so that the person can do while, if we are scheduling the session in a week, so in that gap, that person can bring out what are the automatic thoughts and how frequent were they and how intense were they. Okay, so which provide a aid to the psychologist, which provide a aid to his counselor. Thought record and activity schedule. Activity scheduling is where because if we like we were talking about behavioral activation, so we said if a person get involved in any kind of negative thought or negative feeling, what he do is he skips something. Okay, there is no structure in his life now. Why? Because he is very anxious, or he is very negative toward, he is very depressed towards some situation, because of which he lost track of his life. Okay, so that is why activity scheduling also help. Okay, understood. These interventions we only provide when we are in a mid space in therapy sessions, not the start of the therapy sessions. Okay, in the start of CBT we don't just do cognitive restructuring or like behavioral activation or kind of stuff. We take some time. Okay, there might be possibilities which, like, the case can go more wrong if we just don't listen to the client and we just don't understand the situation and we just provide these solutions. Okay, so these are not for the starting session, this is in the middle of the sessions which we do. Advanced cognitive techniques are there, metacognitive therapies are there, where we believe about what are the belief about that thinking. Okay, why this thinking is like core belief and core belief, we try to like go deeper in it. Okay, now so it is first there was belief about thoughts, and now it is thinking, why you think like that only. Okay, so because of that thinking pattern, because of that thinking pattern of that person, that there are like consequences happening, there could be anxiety or there can be more serious stuff. So we try to restructure the metacognitive beliefs also. Okay, now cognitive diffusions, detached from your thoughts. Okay, the thing is, thought is bringing some kind of feeling. Okay, so now if you detach from a thought, how we detach from a thought? We see thought as a thought only. Okay, we are not just feeling about it. If you have any kind of negative thought and you are just feeling sad or we are feeling rushed about it, the thing is, if at a like a therapeutic alliance, in a therapeutic alliance, if you are a person who can just see that thought, okay, for a minute, just pause and see what the thought is. Okay, now we are detaching ourselves from that thought. And by detaching ourselves from that thought, we are detaching the pattern, we are breaking the pattern of thought and feeling. Okay, so yeah, cognitive diffusion works very well. Imagery rescripting, imagery are like, again, it is very subjective to the counselors. A lot of counselor try to rewrite the traumatic situations whatever the person had in, or or like by like there are a lot of kind of like some who just neutralize that feeling by imagery technique, or some just bring some positivity, or in some cases where the person did not get some closure. Okay, and now in a situation where he can't get closure for real, if someone lost their dear ones or something, so at that time imagery rescripting also work. Okay, we can make that person realize, and imagery is where he, like, by closing his eyes, he is thinking of something. Okay, he is just like again going through the same thing whatever happened in past, and now we start adding to the script. That's imagery scripting. Schema therapy, like early life beliefs, like from like childhood or psychodynamic beliefs that person have. Okay, which is very like childhood trauma, attached to childhood trauma or something. So schema therapy, the earlier scheme of that person's life. Okay, whatever kind of scheme he has in life, so we try to know that scheme and we try to restructure that scheme. Okay, challenging core belief. Use how we challenge the core beliefs. First we have to find the core belief. Okay, use downward arrow technique to find the core belief. Downward arrow technique is I am going to fail in this class. What does that mean? Okay, we have to ask a series of question of what if. Okay, I am going to fail. Okay, what if you fail? If I fail, I'm the people will think like this. Okay, what if people think like this? then it will prove that I am this. So at a core, like what kind of, like what a core belief look like. If you are doing what if questions, if there's a series of what if questions, the core belief which you are going to get is somewhere very personalized. First, like I am the failure, I am unlovable, I am a very bad son, or I am a person who should not live anymore. So this is I am thought. Okay. Or at like at that time you can also ask a what if question. What if you are this kind of person? This bring a point of view to the person. Okay, if I am a failure, then no one should love me, or that. So there's should wala thing is also there. Okay, so we have to see if there's a lot of personalized behavior is there, or thought is there, or if there's a thought which should. Okay, if there's a shouldism in that. Okay, so we try to like look for two kind of thoughts which are which is very personalized or which have should in it. Then we test that belief. Okay, test belief like via evidence. We ask that persons. We can do very behavioral experiments. Like we or also we can like how you behaved, and if that thing changed. Okay, if that thing completely changed, how you are going to behave. Or out of these two statements, which one you relate to the more. Okay, so these kind of situations we provide to that person to test the belief that yeah, it is the real belief, because sometimes what we are getting is just shallow part of it. Okay, there are more deeper part to it. Okay, so that is why we try to test the belief. Now, if there is belief we have identified, so reframe rigid and distorted assumptions. Whatever the assumptions he is having about the thoughts, whatever the feelings he is having about the thoughts, we have already discussed the activities, and we have already discussed the techniques which could be used. So yeah, we reframe the rigid or disturbed thoughts or distorted thoughts, and distorted thinking patterns are there. Okay, distorted thinking pattern are a lot of kind of thinking patterns are there. Okay, where his self-doubt, where his self-depreciating kind of behavior is there, where magnifying the response is there. So there's a number of kind of personalizing is there. So there's a lot of kind of distorted assumption, distorted cognitive activities are there. So we try to understood it, test it, and then we do our skills. We perform our skills with whatever we are very best at. There are a psychologist I have seen was very good with imagery. Okay, what like they bring beauty when they are performing imagery. Okay, they just make that situation so shallow that client don't just like now the client don't relate to it. Okay, first the client was very into it. Okay, very like he is just the situation was part of that person's life, like a part of his life. Now the person is like very shallow toward it. Like, yeah, it happens. Okay, now I don't. A lot of time people say that I don't relate to it, or I don't think why I was very worried. I don't see anything which make me worried now. Okay, so yeah, and it is their craft. Okay, so you have to master your craft. First thing first, we already know, follow the ethics which is going to be there everywhere. I already told you, now from on, like if you are doing anything, it should be in umbrella of ethics. Practice and supervision. So when you like get these therapy sessions, or which when you get the sessions like the workshops related to these sessions, they are role plays and like supervision sessions are there. Okay, so case works are there. They provide you a case where you have to find which kind of cognitive distortion is there. Okay, there yeah, we can also do that in our live class if we get chance. Or there are role plays. Okay, so first thing is, if you are in a role play now, if you want to get if you are like having any role play of CBT or REBT, don't be a therapist. Okay, be a client in that role play. Why? Because it will brings two things. First thing, if there's some problem attached to your life, you can figure out. Okay, you can get free sessions at that time, and at the same time there will be more insight of the therapy. Okay, because empathy will be generated, because we want client's point of view. That is why if you are like into any therapy session, if you are getting any involved in any therapy session, if there's role plays, always try to be a client. Yeah, if it is not possible for you, if like there's situation where you can only be a therapist, so yeah, that's okay. But if you have a chance, then be a client. Okay, because that's what helped me. So that is why I'm sharing. Continuous learning is the key, we already know. Because if you are learning the image, because there are a lot of techniques are also there now. The cognitive restructuring is there, imagery is there, metacognitive beliefs, schema therapy is there. There are n number of therapies are there. Okay, in this therapy there are n number of techniques which you have to master. So continuous learning is very important in CBT. Okay, you have to just practice and practice more. Okay, if you get chance to get involved in role plays, if you get a chance to do a supervision session, if there's any kind of workspace, workshops or something, seminars are going on, if there's some book or because there are a lot of papers which are publishing on CBT. Okay, every day there is a new paper on CBT. You learn that if there are case work someone is discussing, if there's case work where like kind of thing, if they were practicing a schema but imagery helps really well. So yeah, this kind of things can work. Conclusion, now concluding, it is CBT is empowering practical change model. Practical change model. Why? Because we are gathering an information from our client, which is his autonomic thoughts, and now his core beliefs we are getting, and we are changing it. If we are unable to change it, so we understood the triangle, and we try to change anything from that triangle. And if we are like we get success in any part, we can like go more to it. Learn and apply and grow with the techniques. Okay, so like wherever you can get the information from, schema therapy or any kind of behavior activation. Okay, there are NLP coaches who do behavior activation, where they insert some kind of like, they not insert but they just activate some part of your body when you touch it, that kind of behavior activated. So yeah, there are a lot of people doing a lot of kind of things. So behavior activation techniques or anything, so you can learn about it. When you are learning about it, just get carried away with the text. Okay, understood the core, what is the principle of it. If that text contained the principle, that's okay. If the text just showing some process, okay, so if you are following, don't follow any process like blindly. Okay, know the core of it, because if you understand the core of that process, you can have your own process, you can have your own skills to that therapy session. Okay, there's something which you can bring in the therapy sessions. Okay, yeah, collaborative, active and evidence based. Yeah, collaborative. Why? Because there's a lot of things which are happening. Okay, and now if there's child trauma is there, if their behavioral issues are there, if their medical issues, if their anger response is very high in feelings, the anger response is very high, if it requires some medication or something, so yeah, we can also we have to be very open minded for it. We have to be very collaborative. We can't just be very closed and we just deny to every possible situation. Because the thing is, as we already said, in counseling process and the communication skills, client is very important. Okay, however, whatever you can, like any way, if you can help the client, try to help the client. Why? Because the client is very important. Thank you from my side, and that's all I have for CBT. In live sessions we can discuss about CBT, REBT and some case. Till now, like good to go. Learn your skills, practice it, and try to get involved with therapy sessions and be a better person. Let's meet in next session.